Welcome to Talking Grit, a Detroit Lions podcast. Talking Grit is brought to you by the Monroe County Reporters, Monroe's top news source for police, fire, and community events.
Depot Street, truck boy intercept.
Follow them on Facebook, and for $2.99 a month, you can become a subscriber and get the news you crave even faster.
Welcome, everybody, to Talking Grit. I'm Jason Harwood, and we have Jacob Litton here with me. We're going to change up the format a little bit this week. We usually have just one interview. Well, the Titans, they came at us with two. So we got the boys from Titans Colosseum podcast to discuss the Week 8 matchup with the Titans. I want to welcome Morocco and RJ with us. How you doing, fellas?
Yo, what's going on, guys? How you feeling?
What's going on, man? Happy to be on the show, man.
Yeah, welcome. So, Jacob, we thought we were going to be outnumbered 3-2, but one of them couldn't make it. So we could play man-to-man defense on this one. Who do you want, RJ or Morocco?
My screen's lined up with Morocco, so I guess I got him.
All right. Well, I got RJ. I don't know if you could shoot outside threes or not. I don't know. Just let me know. You drive to the hole. All right, fellas. So what's going on, Titans Nation? Based on our discussion before, we're a little frustrated, but where are you guys at?
Right now we're on the battlefield right now, man. We got our tank right now, man. We riding down the the battlefield with our tanks, man. Because my goodness, we getting rid of everybody. Everybody up for sale on the Tennessee Titans right now. So that's kind of where we at. We trying to figure out who gone, who's who's staying. So.
Were you surprised about the DeAndre Hopkins news, or were you just wondering when that was going to happen?
Yeah, it was more so a win because he set out probably like the third or fourth quarter of the Buffalo Bills game, man, and he gave coach a side eye. Me and Morocco and Firestone, we kind of knew. We was like, yeah, he finna get traded. They're shopping him, Yeah, when we got blown out by the Bills, I was pretty much the Titans fan. That any little bit of hope that Titans fans had that we are gonna turn the season around, it was gone after that. So you guys are about to go ahead and put an end to it as well, in my opinion.
We haven't been home, and this will be the first home game in 3 weeks for us. So it's going to be a loud environment that the Titans are going to have to deal with. So sounds like Mason Rudolph is going to be the quarterback. Is that what you guys think, or?
Yeah, Mason's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, it just depends on if Levis plays. They want Levis to go out there because they want a full season worth of film to see if he's not the guy or not. I mean, so far he's been garbage, but they want a full season, see if he's going to get any better and become something in the league. But if he can't, then they're going to throw Mason Rudolph out there. But I mean, either way, you guys are going to beat us, in my opinion. So,
so we can just end the podcast now.
I mean, we are undefeated against the Detroit Lions. So maybe, maybe we get lucky.
Right. No, based on how the season's going, though, I mean, and you already said, seems like almost everyone's up for grabs. They've got Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, Quandre Diggs, Ernest Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins were already traded. So you guys have value, and it seems like they're all up for sale. Do you think that's ideally what they're doing is just tanking and they're going to get a quarterback?
I think they're getting ready for any situation that may come about. I mean, of course, you got Carolina's in the mix, first overall draft pick. You got Jacksonville. Who else? The Patriots, Cleveland. You got a few teams. So there's no guarantee that Tennessee is going to get in that top three where we need to be to, have a shot at getting a Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. So if we don't go that route, we may have to go best player available. So that's why I've been saying that it wouldn't be a bad idea for the Titans to pick up a bridge guy in free agency, just go full-blown Atlanta Falcons from last year, sign somebody, and if you're in position to draft a guy, take them. I mean, I don't have a problem with them doing that. All I want to see from the Titans from this point on is to build the foundation back up, build us back up to be a competitive team, build us back up to be in the mix for the playoffs every single December, every single January.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, man, I don't even think that we even got to get a bridge quarterback if we're not in position to get. We could just go running back with Will Levis again. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if he does get better protection, he could be better than what he's shown so far. But our protection has been so bad that like it making him do bad things. And I've been the biggest person. I've been on hard on Will Levis. You know what I'm saying, this whole time. But in my opinion, man, if we're not gonna get a quarterback this year, we're gonna have to wait till next year, man. And we just throw Levis back out there again and just go ahead and suffer because you can't do this without no quarterback, man. That's just my opinion, man. You're gonna have to draft one and get one in the draft, or maybe be like you guys and us and get lucky and get one in a trade. You know what I'm saying? You guys got Jared Goff, and you see what you guys are doing. We had Ryan Tannehill from the Dolphins, and you see that we made some noise for 3 years with Ryan Tannehill, man. So you know what I'm saying? It's either one of the two, man. We either going to trade for a guy, run with Will Levis, or we're going to draft one, make one in the draft, man. So get one in the draft. So see how it
Who done
goes.
talked you back on the boat, RJ?
What'd you say?
I said, who done talked you back on the boat?
Oh no, there ain't nobody talking back on the boat. You know, I'm big Cam Ward. Okay, hey, Cam Ward is the best player in the draft right now, man. I don't know why people are trying to act like he ain't out there balling, man, and they out here throwing these dimes, man. Cam Ward is the best quarterback. He's the Jaden Daniels of this draft.
He makes it look effortless too. I mean, he just can make any throw. He's able to move. Like I think he's
people
gonna be
trying to
really
act
good.
like they ain't seeing what they seeing, man. I've watched it. I've watched him every single week because, like, man, he's just exciting. Not as a football fan, he's an exciting person to watch. You know what I'm saying? And I like Shedeur Sanders too. Shedeur Sanders is also going to be a good quarterback in this league. But I'm telling you now, I've watched both of them thoroughly. Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this draft, without question. Strong
I think the
arm,
problem is putting them
faster.
behind this offensive line though too. Because I
Yeah.
mean, they've been very bad in pass protection this year. I think Pro Football Focus has them rated almost dead last in pass protection.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been bad, but got a bright spot. I mean, got a couple of bright spots. The rookie J.C. Latham, left tackle. I mean, he's holding it down. He's having one of the best seasons as a rookie at left tackle that I've seen. And Peter Skoronsky, although his play has been up and down, I mean, he's getting better when he's actually playing better. But I mean, still, he's got some work to do. Cushenberry, I'm not going to say it's been a huge letdown with Cushenberry coming over from Denver, but you most definitely want to see him get better. Dylan Radins. I mean, here's a guy who was drafted by John Robinson to be a left tackle. They've tried everything with him. Seems like he's found a home at a right guard. Still got some progressing to do, but no one is really complaining too much about Ray Dunst because we see the progression. Like I told you guys before we got on the show, right tackle. That's where the problem comes in to play. Sadiq Charles retired. There was a talk that he was going to be the starting right tackle. So we ended up with Nicholas Petit Ferreira, the fantasy expert. He goes out there and my God, I mean, looks bad. Just all out horrible. Oh God, I went blank that fast. Jalen Duncan, that didn't go well. 6th round
Yeah.
draft. They tried him at left tackle last year, didn't work. I mean, he gave up a lot of sacks in Maryland as well. But Leroy Watson, they gave Leroy Watson a shot. And although Leroy Watson, he wasn't the best, had some penalties. I mean, don't mind the penalties. I mean, he was still getting pushed around, but he didn't give up a sack. Looked like, had some promise with him. They didn't start him against Buffalo for whatever reason. He was a healthy scratch. Nobody knows why they didn't start him. Had who was it? Duncan out there starting. What am I right, RJ? Duncan, he started.
Yeah, Duncan. Duncan. He got hurt and then put
Yeah,
NPF
got
on
hurt.
him going out there.
So NPS back out there. So I mean, that's how much of a mess we've been at right tackle.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you guys don't have Aiden Hutchins in this game. he would have 5 sacks against his O line. I'm gonna let you. There was no way we're gonna be able to block that dude. I'm gonna just keep that 100. Yeah, so I'm glad he's not playing because my goodness, man, we made. You said if you want to see embarrassment, watch us play the Cleveland Browns last year. We made him look like Lawrence Taylor. It got to the point where the Myles Garrett was run. He was toying with us. We had 2 tight ends following him to block him, and he got up and went to the other side, and the 2 tight ends got up and followed him over there. And he just kept going back and forth to mess with it because he knew we was coming to block him. Like that's how bad our line has been for the past 3 years, man. And his offensive line has been a problem for a while. And you guys know it takes a while to fix the offensive line. It just does. It takes a while.
So my question,
but luckily,
go
yeah,
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, my question is, is it hard to get a good read on Will Levis then if he's not getting any pressure? I mean, he's losing his wide receivers too. So is it, I mean, even if you put him in,
he sucks. He sucks.
Yeah.
That Chicago Bears game, that Jets game, yeah, he sucks. It just, I mean, it's as simple as that, man. He's not a good quarterback, man. And I mean, he showed us some promise last year. He made a couple big plays, man. He showed us some flashes, but we see this year he's not gonna tap into that. You know what I'm saying? And me and Morocco and Firestone, we made fun of this kid all the way up until we drafted him. We was roasting him every other week, every time we would do quarterback evaluations. Because we didn't think we were gonna get him. Then we drafted him, and we had to eat so much crow. And it was hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I just look at it like this, though, man. He hasn't been a good quarterback at any level of football. What makes you think he's going to do it in the NFL, So
it was just the arm strength, the arm ability. I mean, because I follow Kentucky football too. I mean, he had the arm. It just wasn't, he didn't make the best decisions, and he wasn't really able to make all the throws. Yeah. I think teams just saw that cannon. I mean, he fell in the draft a little bit, obviously, but yeah, it's not like they're tied to him forever. So if that's the plan, is to tank and get a different quarterback, doesn't sound like you guys would be missing him. I mean, you need better quarterback play, despite the line.
Right. Yeah. And Will Levis, I mean, he has all the physical abilities that you would ask for in a quarterback. The thing is, he doesn't really have it between the ears. I mean, you want your quarterback to be cool, calm, and collective throughout any situation. That isn't Will Levis. I mean, it seems like Will Levis loves to live in chaos. I mean, he will create his own chaos. I mean, y'all saw that in the Chicago game. Y'all saw that in the Jets game. I mean, even when he hurt himself in Miami, he did that in a chaotic situation, diving for a first down when he really didn't even need to dive. I mean, just things like that on top of what he's doing when he's in the pocket. I mean, what he's not doing when he's in the pocket, because when he has protection, I mean, he's late with his passes. I don't know what it is, but he won't even throw downfield this season. He's saying that he's not seeing the wide receivers, but last year, it seems like you couldn't stop him from throwing the ball downfield. So right. I don't know exactly, what's going on with Will Levis. I mean, where is, this sudden change coming from? But man, he's a second round draft pick. So we don't need to sit up here and give him 4 seasons to try to figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah. It's simple as that. He's not getting paid that much money as a second round pick. We can cut our losses with him and get another quarterback, especially one. I won't get one that's drafted in the top 3. You know what I'm saying? Drafted in the top 2. Like them are usually the quarterbacks that are good in this league. Like even you guys' quarterback, he was drafted number 1 overall. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The first round quarterbacks 9 times to 10 are gonna make it in this league. Now I get it. There's some said there's some Brock Purdy's, there's some Tom Brady's. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time, 90% of the time, you're gonna get them in the top 10. You know,
Right.
so
That's because quarterbacks get overdrafted. So I mean, by the time you get to the second round, third round, they've been well picked over by that time, and
yeah,
so much
just because you
evaluation
want to
is.
put that contract on them, you know.
Yep. Yeah. So let's switch things up. Let's talk about the defense. First thing I got to say is what's going on with L'Jarius Sneed in PFF. He's rated the last. He's rated as the last corner. What's going on with him?
Well, I'll take it. L'Jarius Sneed, I mean, he has his plays where he's locking up, but then he has his plays where he'll get cooked. You know what I'm saying? He's been a little up and down this year. You know, the numbers look good on him. Like you'll see, like the receivers don't put up good numbers on him most of the time, but like he'll give up plays. You know what I'm saying? And it's mostly because he bump and run. You know, so he'll get burnt. You know what I'm saying? Off of a deep ball with all the bump and run coverage he likes to play. He likes to get grabby too. It just probably hasn't. I mean, he's just not having the best year. I mean, he's also first year under Denard Wilson as well. So, it took him a while at KC for him to get going as well. So, we'll see what he is in moving forward with us.
Is that your read on him, Morocco?
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, L'Jarius Sneed, I mean, he's a physical corner, loves to, mud guys, and he can get beat doing that at times. Now, I do think that his injury situation may be playing a role in what he's doing right now. But yeah, I mean, L'Jarius Sneed, throughout these first 6 games that we've played, he hasn't really been good at all. I mean, the stats against opposing wide receivers, they say one thing, but when you look at them on the field, I mean, if it's a better quarterback, they make those completions, and those numbers look a whole lot worse. So, L'Jarius Sneed, I'm not mad that we went and got him, but we definitely need more from him.
All right, Jacob, you're up.
All right. I guess basically we want to know what your opinion is on Mike Vrabel. Why did Mike Vrabel get fired? He's obviously a defensive-minded coach, and then you guys flip over here and you hire the Bengals offensive coordinator, and through 6 games, you guys are 31st in offensive yards right now. So was the reason, because Vrabel, you guys were in the playoffs, you guys were, getting there. They just felt like they needed to make the next step, or do you think they just thought, we're going to blow this thing up? It's just time for a change.
Well, the Mike Vrabel thing, I mean, it's a lot when it comes to the whole Mike Vrabel situation. But I'll start off here. The 2022 season. I mean, we started off well. I mean, I think we started off 7-2, RJ, something like that.
Yeah, it was 7-3. We started off with that was the 2021 season, not 2022 season.
That was 22.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 22. We started off 7-2, 7-3, somewhere around there. We started off good, but then the wheels just fell off. I mean, we went on a losing streak, and ended up having to play in a Week 18 win and you end game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, in which we ended up losing. Controversial game. The whole thing about Josh Dobbs fumbling or not fumbling. I mean, it was just a mess. And then we came into 2023. John Robinson had got fired during the 2022 season after the Eagles just straight up beat us with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was out there with the whole belt thing or whatever. But John Robinson lost his job 2022. In comes Rand Carthon 2023. It was said that what's going on right now, Rand wanted to do that coming in. Mike Vrabel wasn't a fan of it. He wanted to run it back with Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry. They ultimately decided, okay, we're going to let you run it back with Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. Well, 2023, season don't start off too hot. But what was crazy is we were losing every game on the road, but we were winning every game at home. And the Titans was in such a rough spot to where you didn't know what we were going to be. And then Mike Vrabel goes to New England during our bye week. That's what really set things off. The news started to come out that we're hearing that Mike Vrabel isn't happy in Tennessee. Everybody's wondering, what's going on. And end of the season, man, when it started looking like the Titans weren't going to make the playoffs, I mean, the chatter started to get louder. I mean, you were hearing that the Titans may move on from Mike Vrabel. Adam Strunk and the organization put out a statement saying that Mike Vrabel is the head coach, which we saw that before out of her. That didn't stop anything. After the Jacksonville game, week 18, they ended up letting Mike Vrabel go. And a lot came out. Him and Miss Amy, were butting heads. It would have been said that Vrabel wasn't a fan of Carthon and that he wanted somebody to oversee Rand Carthon. He didn't want him hired as general manager. He wanted him to be like an assistant general manager. He wanted control. I mean, it was just
it was
a lot
crazy.
going on. But ultimately, we felt that we needed to go in another direction with this offense because Mike Vrabel was very loyal to his guys, and his guys were not getting it done. I mean, you heard about all kinds of communication issues defensively with Shane Bowen, and then Keith Carter, the former offensive line coach, he ended up getting let go. Vrabel hires his assistant. The assistant is much worse than Carter, tied down in the whole DUI thing. They retained him even after the DUI, waited to the end of the season to let him go. Tim Kelly comes in. Things looked like they were going to be a little bit different with Tim Kelly, but I mean, it still ended up, the Titans running the football into a brick wall with Derrick Henry. He wasn't getting the blocks that he was getting when he was running for 2,000 yards. And y'all are seeing that in Baltimore right now. I mean, does it look like Derrick Henry lost a step to y'all?
Right, no.
Yeah, I told people that when we not trade him. Once he left, I said, "Yeah, man, Derrick Henry's finna go." I told Morocco didn't want to believe me. I said, "This gonna be the best Russian duo of all time." I said, "The league ain't never seen nothing like this." Like,
yeah, it's a lot with the Mike Vrabel situation, but I mean, I don't mind by the Titans going in a new direction. But my thing is, I want them to stick with this direction. If you want the modern day offense or whatnot, you need to keep on swinging at the offensive minded head coach. Even if Cali doesn't work, go find somebody else. Stick to it. Don't just give up if it doesn't work with Cali and go right back to the defensive minded head coach where turnover is always going to be consistent when it comes to the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, I think I'm agree with Morocco. Pretty much everything he said was correct, man. It's just he was just way too loyal to people that he shouldn't have been loyal to, man. We have some really bad coaches, and they're bad at other places too. Like we was me and Morocco was laughing because the Jets hired Todd Downing as their OC, and we was like, watch, they offense finna go to shit. We already knew,
Right.
man, because they were hyping it up and everything. I'm like, man, they really hyping up Todd Downing. He's garbage. Like, and the Jets right now, they looking like a cursed franchise. So, and
Yeah,
even Keith
right.
Carter, even their offensive line doesn't even look that good anymore. Like they had Keith Carter over there. So,
So let's stick with your coaches. We got your defensive line coach, Coach Williams, Coach T. Williams over here.
mhm.
Uh,
I love that dude, man.
I was going
Yeah.
to say, everybody that we've talked to, all the players that have talked about him, all the coaches seem to say glowing things about him. So, I mean, you've already stated you loved him. What did you like about him?
Well, he with us during the preseason at one point in time, man. Mike Vrabel said that he coached the defense so well, the defensive line so well that they let him coach the game for preseason. You know what I'm saying? So he could kind of show that he could coach. You know, he actually was the head coach of a preseason game. You know, for us. So that should just show you how much respect Mike Vrabel had for him. You know, and Morocco, you want to chime in on it as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, his position group, I mean, they was always ready to go. I mean, the whole team would have ran through a brick wall for Mike Vrabel. I mean, they would have done the same for him as well, man. So, I mean, just a well respected coach.
Yeah, our D lines were always good under him as well. I mean, the Titans always been known for our D line. We can kind of somewhat see the difference in the D line from since he's gone. Because I mean, we kind of having questions about Jeffrey Simmons right now because a lot of our fans are saying that he overrated, that he's not worth the contract that we gave him. And I'm like, I don't know what to say just because it's like Jeffrey Simmons has always been a good player for us, but this season he's not having the best season. So.
Yeah, and it seems like Hutch really took it to the next level before that injury. And then our defensive tackle, Lee McNeil, has been really playing well too. So
Mhm.
it seems to be working out for us so far.
Yeah, we've
God,
always had somebody stepped up under him as well too. Like he's always been a good defensive line coach.
Yeah, I mean that's where you really see the difference. Your top end players are going to be your top end players, but when you start seeing the growth of your back end or your middle middle of the roster type players, they take the next step. It can be a huge difference between not making the playoffs or making the playoffs. Or if someone gets injured, you got another next man up.
yeah, I mean, he's got some guys. He's got some guys paid too. Mario Edwards, DeMarcus Walker. I mean, those guys right there. I mean, they were practice squad guys. I mean, they stepped into our defense, put some good tape on film, and ended up getting paid, man. And they are playing big roles with the teams they're with right now, man. So that just goes back to show the impact that Coach Williams had.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to ask. You kind of alluded to this, but we're going to say, what is the light at? We've been as Lions fans, we've been in your shoes. We've been in the 1-6. We've been in there. We've been what you guys mentioned, looking at the draft board already, looking at mock drafts in the middle of the season, where it sounds like just based on our conversation, where you're kind of looking where for you, what is your light at the end of the tunnel? What are you hanging your hat on with this team? Where do you want to go with it?
I know it sound like a broken record, but my goodness, I just need a quarterback. Dog. I
Mhm.
need a young quarterback I can believe in that the fans can believe in, so we can calm down a little bit. Even if we was having if we was having like a 2-3 win season and we got our quarterback situation already settled, I think I feel a lot better about this team. But like now that we ain't got no quarterback and we losing, it's hard for us to really just watch them. You know what I'm saying? Because like even I had cut the game off against the Bills, and once they went up 2 scores, I was like, yeah, we're not coming back. We just don't have the firepower to come back against the Bills. And ever since then, man, it's just hard. It's just me and we're emotionally uninvested in this team right now until the off season.
It's a tough place to be. I've been there.
We've been there many times.
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
is,
well,
man.
everybody, the world, the NFL everybody outside of your division is definitely cheering for the Lions, man. Just so y'all know, we know what you guys have been through.
Right.
Everybody.
All
Yeah,
right.
you gotta be either a real hater or a Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, or a Chicago Bears fan to hate what's going on in Detroit right now because y'all have been down for so long and finally, you getting your time to shine. So I mean, hats off to y'all, man. And man, I hope y'all take it as far as y'all possibly can this year.
Man, just next time y'all in the NFC Championship, man, kick the field goal, bro.
Oh,
Please.
man.
Stop going for it on fourth down so much. Like, I'm like, dude,
How's
like,
Dan
just
Campbell
kick the
been, by the
field
way?
goal. Huh?
How has Dan Campbell been, by the way, when it comes to him taking risk? Is he taking less risk, or is he still, rolling the
Every
dice?
any fourth down, he might go for it. Doesn't
We-
matter where we're at, how far away you are, what the game situation is.
Yeah.
We never know. I mean, it's realistic that every single fourth down, we might go for it.
Well, we went where we faked the punt on the first drive, Jacob, and and
Right.
against a 5-0 team.
Oh,
The thing is that what I like about Dan Campbell is he puts his faith in the players, and it's not blind faith. He has confidence, and those fake punts and whatever. When they talk about in the press conference, he's like, "We have a specific look we're looking at. If we get that look, this is the play we're going to run. If we don't get that look, we check out of it and we punt." So it's not just like, "Hey, we're going for it." I don't, whatever. It's well thought of. So yeah, RJ, you said, kick the field goal. I get it, but that's what got him there last year. That's what got him to that point, was going
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
what
And
everybody
so,
been telling me. He was like, he been doing that the whole season. But I was
Yeah.
like, man, they
Right.
playing the 49ers. Like, I'm like, bro, they were just they were a better football team than y'all, and y'all was beating them. And I'm like, man, you can't give the 49ers hope, bro. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
was like, just keep
Right.
putting them points on the board. Like,
yeah, it was tough to be, because before that game, well, it was like before the 49ers game, we just like, we need to show that we belong in this space. Let's make this a competitive game. That was my mindset. I mean, I wasn't like, I thought we had a good shot to win, but I wasn't also counting on the win. But I was like, at least for the rest of the country, show that the Lions belong in this space, in this realm of NFC Championship. And then you get to the point where you're up by 17 in the second half, and you think, we might be actually doing this. We might be going to the Super Bowl. And so then the disappointment comes in. But at the beginning of last year, if you'd told me we made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, that's a huge success for the Lions. And so it's been this progression for us. Dan Campbell's first year, he was 3-13, won 3 games. The next year we started out 1-6, but then almost made the playoffs. Last year won the division, and then this year we're kind of on the same path. So it's you know we just hope that it keeps growing, and we'd like to hear that you're supporting us, because that's the kind of gist that we get. But it's nice to hear it.
yeah,
uh,
man, we on the opposite side of the conference, so we ain't got to worry about that
Yeah.
unless we go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
look, I say we've been in your exact shoes, man. We was just in the AFC Championship playing against Mahomes, man, and we went up 14-0, and we was like, we might go to the Super Bowl, and we both had the same, you know what I'm saying, the same reaction,
Yeah.
and we went up 17-7, and then Mahomes broke the run, man, on us,
Yeah.
man, and he broke our backs and
Mm.
then in there. So
Yeah.
we've been in your shoes before.
Yeah, it's tough. So let's just, the Lions. When you think about this game, mentioned Aiden's out, so that was your big worry. When you think about this game that's coming up, what are you most worried about, either offensively or defensively?
man, I'm worried about Detroit putting up 50 points on us and us not scoring a single point. But realistically, I mean, Detroit's offense, man. I mean, you just gotta respect their offense. I mean, you can move the ball on the ground, you can move the ball through the air. I mean, you got to be prepared for everything when it comes to Detroit's offense. Defensively, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know where y'all stand defensively. I was going to ask you about that, either Jacob or Jason. How do y'all look defensively this year? I mean, did y'all make any significant improvements? Are y'all seeing it?
Go ahead, Jacob. I'll let you handle this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest question mark that we had with our defense really has been our secondary. Last year, we had Cam Sutton, who was our number one cornerback, and he was just, he was getting torched pretty much every week. And that was a big weakness, is even though we had, Hutchinson, we had some pressure on the quarterback, they were still able to find guys open because, the holes they had in the secondary. So, we drafted Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw. We traded for Carlton Davis. Brian Branch has really stepped up and been like playing at an all pro level. I mean, right now our defense is at a top 10 level. Obviously, without Hutchinson because he was doing so well. So it's going to be interesting to see how we, mix up the blitzing and, pass rush without Hutchinson there. But I mean, to this point, the defense has definitely been playing even, better than what we anticipated with the new cornerbacks, in my opinion.
You'll be getting some first downs because our corners play grabby. They're grabby back there, and we've given up quite a few first downs. But Jacob and I has kind of just decided that's just the way we'd rather be sticky in coverage and give up a few holding penalties rather than just seeing guys run wide open deep in the secondary. So that's just what Lions fans are going to have to deal with this year. But with our offense, Jacob and I feel like we get 2 or 3 stops a game, and our offense will take care of the rest. So that's kind of where we're at. Lions play complementary football, and the defense has been better this year that we could punt it, feel better punting it and getting a stop. Whereas last year, especially towards the end of the year, we knew our offense is going to have to score every time they go down the field.
Yeah, I'll say this about this game, man. I think our defense will give you guys problems in the first half just because we have a really good defense, but our offense doesn't do enough for them to not get tired. So when they do get tired, that's when you guys are going to start putting belt ass, in my opinion. So like, don't get shot if we're in a close game at around halftime. You know what I'm saying? Because the Titans will eat the clock up and play good defense, and we'll be in a game with you. But if we're gonna make that one play that you guys are gonna take advantage of, and you guys are gonna start running up the score, I can see that type of game happening against you guys because
Well, that's what happened in the Buffalo game, right? I mean, you guys were
yeah. It was up 10-0 on Buffalo. So
one play call. I mean, they changed the course of the game. Of course, Brian Callahan deciding to go for it on fourth down. That didn't work out. I mean, Buffalo, they had damn good field position, and they end up capitalizing on it. That's when Amari Cooper scored his first touchdown with the Buffalo Bills. Pretty much got in front of Quandre Diggs and caught the football, man. So, I mean, it went downhill from there. I don't know what situation Cali is going to be in this Sunday, but if it's, a sticky situation, expect him not to make the right decision.
Yeah, he's still learning as a head coach, man. He's kind of where Dan Campbell was at in his first year with you guys, where he was making bonehead mistakes, and he's a head coach in training. You know what I'm saying? So, but we have some goofy fans. They're over here talking about fire dude after 6 games. I'm like, nah. One, he doesn't have a quarterback. And 2, like, I mean, this team isn't even his team yet. Like, we got to draft. We're gonna have to build this team up drafting. We can't build a team up off of just buying. Our fans thought that we could just buy a competitive team, and I don't think that's how you go about it. We really just bought these people so we can see if Will Levis is the guy moving forward. I think that was the big thing. Like right now, we're very trying to figure out who's gonna be our quarterback moving forward. That's why we got a lot of these guys, And I think with Rand, he was basically trying to look at it like, well, if he is a guy, we can compete. You get what I'm saying? Like we can compete a little bit, But he wasn't, so he's like, all right, let's go ahead and sell. And we right now, I don't know who's going to be playing, what people we're going to be trading. Because we might be trading some people tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We might the day of the day we might be trading somebody. So I don't know who's playing on game day.
Yeah. That's so disheartening for a football fan when you get, we're not even halfway through the season and you're feeling like that about your team. I mean, like Jacob said, we've been there. We totally understand and can empathize with where your guys are at. So I totally get it. Before we take off here, one thing that we ask our guests to do is just make a prediction about the game. Doesn't have to be the score. Doesn't have to be. It could be just one prediction about the game. I'm gonna start with you, Morocco. You pick a. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think the Titans aren't even gonna have a chance this Sunday, man. I mean, Detroit, they're gonna start out hot, and they're gonna run it up against the Titans. I mean, we are a team that's tanking right now. Just got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. No telling, like RJ said, no telling who else we're going to get rid of before this game Sunday. So I would say Detroit isn't going to play with us. I mean, they're probably going to be up 24 to 28 points in the first half.
Mm. Yeah, it's a little bit different to me. I do believe it'll be somewhat competitive. I can see y'all being up like a 17 to 10, and then you guys are gonna make that one play that's gonna make it 24 to 10, and then y'all gonna start running it up, from then on there. But I will say I get my final score prediction will probably be 41 to 10. 41 because I don't think we're gonna score again once y'all make that play. I'm gonna go. I'll say 41-13 Lions.
Wow, gonna hit another 40
Yeah,
points. See if Jared
Yeah,
got
we would be okay with
that.
that.
The Cowboys, I say, oh Lord, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I said, yeah, Detroit ain't playing this year.
All right, Morocco or RJ, tell the people where they can listen to you guys, and when you guys post your stuff, and just tell them what's up.
So, Titans Colosseum podcast. I'm Morocco Taylor, RJ Ellison with us tonight. Leonard Firestone couldn't be with us, but you can catch us every Monday and Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time. We are all streaming platforms. You can download our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, wherever, man. I mean, we're all over the place, man. And you can go check out some of our articles as well. We write from time to time. Tennessee, I keep on wanting to say TennesseeTitans.com, TitansColiseum.com, where you can find our latest articles, show episodes, pretty much anything you want to know about the Titans Coliseum is on our website. You can go there, get merch as well.
All right, fellas,
All
been
right.
great. We welcome your time. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Well, that was a cool interview. A little change up, a little format. We got we had to talk to two at the same time. So let's first, Jacob, let's talk about the injury report. You want to go over the one that was released today?
Yes. So most current injury report, and this is as of Wednesday night, for the Tennessee Titans. Wide receiver Calvin Ridley did not practice due to foot injury. Cornerback L'Jarius Sneed did not practice. He's dealing with the quad. Their defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons didn't practice, but that is due to rest. And then getting in limited practices for the Titans were quarterback Will Levis, who is kind of up in the air about whether he's going to play or not. Running back Tajay Spears, and then their linebacker Kenneth Murray. He was a limited participant. He's their green dot player, so that would be a huge loss if he was not able to go. Sounds like he's going to be okay, but we don't have more information on that just yet anyway. You want to go over the Lions side?
Yeah, and Dan Campbell said today in his press conference the bigs were going to get a rest. So Taylor Decker didn't practice, Glasgow didn't practice, Frank Ragnow didn't practice, and Levi Onwuzurike didn't practice, all due to rest. I don't think there's any worry about them not playing this game. Josh Pascal did not practice. That's due to an illness. So we don't know, that's kind of up in there whether he's going to play. That could be a big loss if we don't have Josh Pascal, just because we're so short on edge help. Christian Mahogany, full practice. So that 21-day window is coming up really quick. So they're either going to have to put him on the roster or try to put him, either put him on injured reserve for the rest of the year or practice squad him if he can make it out there. Good news is Kevin Zeitler listed with a groin injury, but had a full practice today. So, hopefully that's a good sign for him to come back on the field for this upcoming Sunday.
Real quick before we jump to the stats. Titans are 1-5, obviously not an impressive season. In our NFL preview, I actually had picked them to go 7-10. Zach, our guest that week, he picked them with 10 wins and 7 losses. And then you, Jason, you actually had them going 5-12. So that actually looks to be the most accurate to this point. It looks like you may have got something right. Honestly, 5 wins looks like it may be a little generous for them at this point with the trades and everything that they've been doing. But you definitely seem to be more on than we were. I just have another interesting note about the Titans matchup, though. So the Titans have won the last 6 matchups against the Lions. In fact, the last time the Lions beat this organization was in December of 1995, and that was when they were the Houston Oilers. So I don't know if you saw this. That was the last win that we got. It was 24-17 against the Oilers, and Scott Mitchell threw 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. And the opposing quarterback that game was rookie Steve McNair.
Wow.
That was his first NFL pass was against the Lions in that matchup in 95. So a little interesting tidbit of history, right? Yeah, that's how long it's been since we beat them. So, we owe them one. This has been the season of getting people back. So, I mean.
It has. It has. You're right. And it's just, the Vikings, we get, we're on a streak with them. But yeah, talk about the Cowboys, taking them down, taking the Seahawks down. Yep. Let's get our first win against these Titans.
Yeah.
Based on Morocco and RJ's, the game's already over to them. They've looked on to the next week. But I hope the Lions haven't. Because
exactly.
When you look at the stats, it's really hilarious. Dan Campbell said this defense is one of the tough. Jared Goff said today that this might be one of the toughest defenses they play. And when you look at the defensive rankings, they're actually number 1 in yards per game. They're number 3 in passing yards per game and number 7 in rushing yards per game. So you wonder how a team with that solid of a defense could, muster a record of 1-6. Well, it's because their offense is so poor,
at the opposite end.
Yeah, they're 31st in yards per game, 32 in passing yards per game, 21 in rushing yards per game. They're, very, very poorly rated. And, from our talk with Morocco, even before he got on, he said, and RJ said this during the thing, is like, the defense might hang with us for a little bit, but they will eventually give way because their offense is not going to be able to move the ball. So, that's the major stat that when I looked at that, I was like, how can I even change the columns when I looked to see that they were first in defense? Cause I thought I had it flipped. I thought I was like, oh, I must have the wrong way on this. And I restarted it and I was like, well, they are number 1. Okay. And I think turnovers.
Yeah. Defense on a short field. They're out there too much.
Yep. Yeah. They're giving up turnovers, offenses, and the defense is not getting turnovers, which is not a way you could play, sustained winning. So, Jacob, you got a stat or anything else that you want to talk about?
We kind of talked about it in the interview, too. They got rid of Mike Vrabel, who's a defensive-minded coach. They got the offensive coordinator from the Bengals, Brian Callahan. Through 6 games, they're 26th in points scored and 31st in offensive yards. So this is not what they wanted the offense to look like thus far. Even though the defense is outplaying the offense, it really seems like the team is trending downward. I think they're definitely going to start mixing up some different things, seeing some different players, and especially with the trades and everything, they're probably looking towards next year already.
Yeah, but that also makes them dangerous in the sense that
absolutely
they have no repercussions. They can go forward on 4th down. They can run trick plays. They can do whatever they
everything
want.
They have just right.
Yeah, because then they could try whatever they want to try because they're already looking forward to the draft or whatever. I hope after having a tough week last week playing the Vikings, that was a tough game. That was a grueling game. Just as a fan to watch it, I know it was for the players. The Lions can't overlook the Titans. They're saying the right things in the interview, but in that room, they have to play hard, and I'll just hopefully they don't look past them because they got a tough game the following week. They got the Texans Sunday Night Football. The next game is the Packers, right. And then that leads to
even
the
bigger
Texans. Yeah, so there's some big games on the horizon here. So hopefully, they're just revved up by the Lions crowd. Ford Field haven't been back there since Monday Night Football. And yeah, good showing. Their run game is decent. We said it was 21st. Tony Pollard's like the 3rd best in the league getting yards after contact. So the Lions are going to have to, make sure to get him to the ground. Lions are a pretty good tackling team, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. But he's dangerous also receiving the ball. So even the corners are going to have to, be on their game. And
Absolutely.
They have Landry is the guy on their team that we have to watch out for pressure. He leads the team with 18 pressures, so we got to watch out for that.
Maybe we're going to be scouting him.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
After the game, you're like, you know what, man? Just, stay here. Stay in Detroit.
Well, I thought it was funny that Landry leads the team with 18 pressures, and Aiden would get like 15, a game. So
yeah,
it's like,
right.
It's when you see stats like what Aiden was putting up, just it makes it so tough because we miss him so much. But we just have to move on, I guess.
Huge loss. You got to make up for it. Everyone has to step up and do their part.
That's correct.
Basically, I mean, we kind of touched on that already too. I put that in both of my offense and defensive key to victory is just don't look past the team. Any given Sunday. I know Dan Campbell said at the beginning of the season he's been a part of teams that made it really far one year. The next year they started to get complacent. Maybe they weren't working as hard. They weren't bringing it every week. And I don't think we have anything to worry about that. But that's definitely a key to victory, and that's definitely something that I think you can tell by the interviews and the process. Like, it's been hammered down. Like, we are not going to overlook this team. We are focused on the task at hand. We're focused fully on the Titans right now. Offensively, basically my key to victory is just keep doing what we're doing. We are who we are. We are going to run the ball effectively. We're trusting our quarterback that he's going to be making the adjustments and making the throws we need. Keep the ball in the offensive hands and put points on the board. They do have a good defense, but, wearing them down is going to be huge. And that's just what we do. I mean, we're wearing these teams down as long as we're able to run it effectively. Haven't heard anything about David Montgomery's injury. So it's not like he's he's not affected on the injury report at all. Hopefully that means it's just, that it's not even bothering him and he's good to go. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs showed that he, was able to pick up the slack for what happened last week. But, we just have to come in focused and prepared, and on offense, just keep doing our thing and, give the home crowd a show.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be there rooting them on. It's going to be, we talked about it with the Titans guys. We've been in their spot where we've been 1-6. We have not been in this spot very often where we're 5-1 and we're in a position to look past the game. As a Lions fan, I've almost never been in a position to look past the game. I was always just super fearful that even if we had a game where the records were so lopsided like this, that, I was just fearful that this is a trap game. The Lions would just always fall in, like the game that you would count on them to win because they got the Packers next week and they got to beat the Packers. And then, we could have, some sort of lead in the division or whatever in years past. I would always be scared. I'm in a unique position that I don't want to look past the team, but I'm not on the team, so I can look past the team if I want. The Lions won't, but I've never been in this spot where I've been so confident coming into a game that, hey, we're gonna take care of business. What we got to do, in my opinion, is no turnovers. This offense is not scary. We just do not need to give them extra chances. I want to get up early. Ideally we get up by 2 scores early, and then we could play whatever game we want to play. We could punt the ball and just force them to keep punting back to us and play the field position game. I like playing that with Jack Fox because we generally come out on the winning end of that. And I agree with you, Jacob. Run the ball, be the Lions. Don't make this a Tampa Bay game where we're throwing 55 times a game. Let's not get cute. Let's run the ball. I know they got a good run defense. Let's just, see who takes over, Gibbs or Montgomery. And then, if it's tough sledding early on, we're going to follow what the, Titans Colosseum's boys said. We're going to just tire them out. And then by the end of the game, they're going to be too tired. And then we can just take over the game. So just don't give them any extra chances. No turnovers. I know it's simple, it's cliche, but that's just the bottom line. They're going to turn the ball over. Someone's going to make a mistake on their team. They're going to be pressing. They're going to take their chances. Brian Branch is probably going to get a pick, or Kirby's going to get a pick just because they're going to take some chances, especially if Will Levis is in. I think we're going to definitely get some turnovers.
Right.
If Mason Rudolph is in, he's probably a little more careful with the football, but also, you don't have to worry about him lighten you up. As much as Will Levis as he could just light you up just if he decides to throw deep. But if the Titans Coliseum guy said he's not even throwing deep, what's the point? I don't even know.
I mean,
But
that's what he was known for, right? I mean,
Right.
is showing off his arm, and that's what he did last year when when he connected with Hopkins so many times. And now Hopkins is gone. If Ridley doesn't play, their passing offense has already been terrible. It's really, really been suffering. And if Calvin Ridley doesn't play, and you've got Mason Rudolph out there, trying to get the ball out to, that would leave Nick Westbrook, Tyler Boyd. I mean, it just doesn't look good for them.
No.
But
I mean,
that means they're going to be going for broke. I mean, they're going to, maybe they're mixing up different formations or doing whatever they're doing. They switch to a little more backyard style of football and try to see what happens.
I'm pretty confident going in this game. I mean, large point spreads always seem to, I don't know if I'd want to take the Lions plus 10.5 or whatever, because I could see the Lions just, keeping it, getting up 2 scores and then just running the ball and controlling the game. But could be a Dallas Cowboys
It's going to
game
look vanilla.
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys, especially with the Packers coming up, we're not going to want to throw them too much. But, we look at the Dallas game and Dan Campbell never took his foot off the gas. So, it could go the other way too, where we're putting up 40 and not
I'm all for not taking your foot off the gas. But as far as mixing up our packages and showing the trick plays and doing different things like that, I just don't think, hopefully it's not necessary against this Titans team. You get up early, you keep grinding on them, you're moving the ball down there. We're putting points on the board every drive. You don't have to do triple flea flicker reverse touchdown to Sam Laporta. That's the kind of thing we say for Green Bay. We run Green Bay into the ground.
Yep. I'm not looking past that, but man, past this game. But man, that's going to be another great division matchup. This division is so strong this year. One thing I meant to mention in our last podcast about our division is that, we only have 6 losses total in our division through 7 weeks, and 2 of them are just from interdivision play. Our division's only lost 4 games outside of the division, which is crazy. I mean, super strong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and national news seems to know what we're about too. NFC North, a lot of these predictions and stuff, through this point, they're predicting that, maybe every team in the division makes the playoffs for the first time ever. And that looks like it's a realistic possibility.
It depends on what the Bears do. And we've seen the Vikings slip before. The Titans Coliseum guys, RJ Morocco, they asked us if we think the Vikings are real. I do think that they are a real playoff team. I feel confident that the Lions can top them, but I also think that they're going to give Chicago fits. That defense is going to confuse the heck out of Caleb Williams. That offensive line down there is not very good. So I could see the Vikings taking care of Chicago. Green Bay, on the other hand, that they've already beat Green Bay once in Green Bay. So Jordan Love didn't have a terrible, he didn't have a great game in that game. And now Packers are going to have to go back and win in Minnesota. So that's going to be tough for them. Minnesota may end up being number 2 in this division.
I mean, if we're only picking each other off, if that's the only losses for the rest of the year, though, are, between NFC North teams, then that's, it's reasonable that every single team is going to be in the playoff at the end. Well, and then you have a scenario where if we're the 1 seed, if we're able to get the 1 seed and we have a bye, then we're playing an NFC North team for the 3rd time in that 2nd week.
Yep. And, say it's Minnesota and we would have just played them 2 weeks before.
Yeah, right.
We end the season with them. We talked about this in the schedule preview in episode 2. Most of our division's backloaded. We're playing a lot of division games. I mean, we just had our first one last week, and they're kind of sprinkled in from here and there, but it's going to be a lot of division games from here to the end of the season. And then if we have to play them in the playoffs, if say we do sweep a team, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. I think the Lions can do it because we're so multiple and we could do so many different things that we're not super predictable. We could change things up. But you saw with Tampa Bay, beat them twice last year. They came to our house and we lost to them. It's almost like 3 times in one season just because of how close all those games. We just played them in the playoffs. So, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. From that standpoint, I don't know if I necessarily want to see our division all in there, but I will tell you this: if we can win our division, that's all playoff football. I mean, if the whole division
Right.
makes if the whole division makes the playoffs, that means you have played 6 at the minimum. You played 6 playoff teams during the season, and home and away against each one of them. And then obviously you probably played other playoff teams, but you already went through the gauntlet through the season, and if you can come out top there, that I like our chances in the playoffs.
Definitely.
One thing before we get to grit picks. All right, I'm going to start a new segment, Jacob. I haven't told you about this, but this is a new segment. It's called Monty or Gibbs. You got to pick right now who's going to have more yards. We got 2 running backs. Who's going to have more yards in this game, Monty or Gibbs?
Or we're gonna say rushing yards or all-purpose yards, just everything.
Let's just say
I got the same pick regardless, but I just want to know going forward how you want.
I'm just saying rushing yards. We're just going to go rushing yards.
No, I'm saying Monty, Demo. I'm going Knuckles over Sonic.
I'm going to go Gibbs. So nothing on this, but I just think it's a fun, since we have such a good running back room, I just think it's a fun little exercise that we could play. So I'll take
no, for sure. That's cool.
And then what we'll do is whoever gets it right gets the pick first the next week. So then the other person's stuck with the other one. It just worked out well this week because we were going to pick opposite, because I was going to go Gibbs and you were going to go Monty.
Okay.
So next week we'll just go, the winner gets to pick first and the other person has to pick the opposite. So it's called Monty or Gibbs. I don't have a fun drop or anything for this yet, so you won't hear any high production value things, but it's called Monty or Gibbs. All right.
I just want to point that out leading into this next thing, that because Jason is so bad at grit picks, he wanted to invent a new 50-50 way for him to try to be right at something.
Hey man, I made up some ground this week. So
you did. You actually did.
All right.
Based on the Thursday night game, I was like, oh, I've got this in the bag again. Jason's toast.
I know.
All right. Lay it out.
All right. Let's get into grit picks.
Grit picks.
All right. Just to review last week, week 7, we had Thursday Night Football, Broncos at Saints. I picked the Saints and they looked terrible. I forgot Derek Carr was not playing, but I have no excuse. They just look.
Do you have a sound effect that you can just say stupid or idiot?
Yeah, just a drop. Like,
right.
Or just like a something like that.
Anything will work.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football, Jets at Steelers. You thought Jets were on their comeback trail. Get Devontae. Not to be. It started out decent for the Jets. Did not end up decent for the Jets. Steelers took that one.
Hey, I did say, I said, I hope the Jets fall flat. I hope the Jets fall flat. I hope that they fail and tank. But I was thinking they were going to get it done.
Yeah, no.
Rodgers just doesn't have it anymore. Devontae Adams, just joined the team. He can't know everything, the in and outs of where he's supposed to be. And
well, you saw Brady go. Did you see Brady talk about Rodgers? Oh man, he's giving it to him.
I actually did not see that.
He kind of just offhanded marks about, a way to be a good teammate, and is all about the Mike Williams situation, and just
right.
He goes.
I mentioned that last time. That had to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah. So Tom would say one thing in the media, but then he would try to make a connection with a player so that when he was hard on them, they would know it came from a good place. I don't think Rodgers does that.
Because it's not coming from a good place. That's the difference too.
No, that's true. He's definitely become more and more selfish.
Yep, we hate him. Moving on. Nothing. That didn't change.
Yeah. First Monday Night Football game was Ravens at Bucks. Ravens took that. We both picked that. The Bucks not only lost the game, but man, wow, Evans and Godwin both going down.
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks, man.
Really bad luck.
The other Monday Night Football game was Chargers at Cardinals. I picked Cardinals. Jacob picked Chargers. I got that one. It was on a last-second field goal, but I won. So at the end of the season,
that actually was interesting at the end of the game.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't. I didn't watch most of it. I was watching the other game, but I, did catch the end, and the end actually was mildly entertaining.
Well, that's why it's stupid that they have 2 Monday Night Football games. But I digress.
Yes.
Jacob is 14-6. I'm 11-9 up to this point. So week 8, first game is Vikings at Rams. Who you picking? Is it me or you? You got the best record. You get to pick first.
All right, Vikings are 5-1. The Rams are 2-4. Vikings are 3-point favorites, even though they're the away team. I think the Lions curse continues here, and I've actually got the Rams upsetting the Vikings. There's actually, we kind of talked about in the pod, but there have been some rumors that the Vikings are looking into trading for Stafford, which just seems crazy to me that a 5-1 team off their first loss would try to make a quarterback change like that in the middle of the season. So I don't think anything comes of that, but that is an interesting storyline. Cooper Kupp is coming back, making his return for the Rams offense. Like we already said, the Lions curse, it seems like, they really get beaten down. And then the Vikings have the unfortunate short week here, having to play on Thursday night. So, I think Stafford picks up on some of these Vikings blitzes and does enough to get the job done. It's probably going to be a close game, but I do think that the Rams are going to upset the Vikings.
Yep, I'm going Rams too.
Okay.
Part of that is wishful thinking. Part of that is how, it's looked after each time the Lions play a team, they get beat pretty soundly. And then not only that, the Vikings got to play in a short week, right? They just got done playing the Lions and, losing. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams. All right. Cowboys at 49ers. I'm going Cowboys in this one just because 49ers, man. We've had our injuries, but wow, Ayuk goes down. They've been without McCaffrey. Debo has had pneumonia, so I don't think he's probably going to play. Brock Purdy's going to have to show that he's lost all his weapons, right? And now we got to see what kind of quarterback Brock Purdy is without his weapons.
Now we'll see if Brock Purdy is really the real deal, right?
Yeah. So, but I'm going Cowboys. What about you?
Yeah, so Cowboys are 3-3. They're at the 49ers 3-4. The 49ers are still 4.5-point favorites at home here. It's a tough game to pick because there are injuries on both sides, but the Cowboys are coming off of a bye week after getting blown away by us. So I think that they're coming in healthier. They're coming in prepared. Maybe, we don't know about Micah Parsons or their, some of their impact players, whether they're going to play, but they really need an impactful win, and they have to do it right now. So I do think the Cowboys are going to beat the 49ers. As you already said, McCaffrey's out. Jordan Mason is questionable. Ayuk's gone for the season. Debo is sick, so they don't know if he's going to play. If he does play, he's not going to be 100%. Jawan Jennings is questionable. Chris Conley is questionable. Kittle is questionable right now. The only two healthy receivers that are good to go for the 49ers are Michigan's Ronnie Bell and the rookie Ricky Pearsall, who was shot in the chest 2 months ago.
Yeah, wow.
That's just insane. And, if the Cowboys do lose against, this just completely depleted, that's just on offense. They've got plenty of defensive injuries too. But, if the Cowboys lose against this 49ers team, McCarthy's seat's going to be on fire.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Jerry Jones fires during the middle of the season.
Not typically, but
I know
he's under a lot of heat right now himself.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's made his mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't afford Derrick Henry, and then Derrick Henry's just blowing things up. That team would look a lot different if they had Derrick Henry in the backfield. All right, next game, you're up. Giants at Steelers.
Yes, the Giants are 2-5 right now. They are at the Pittsburgh Steelers that are 5-2. Steelers are 6.5-point favorites in this one. Russell Wilson looked pretty good last week. It was his debut. He actually looked pretty solid. The Steelers overall have been playing pretty good football, and I think that they're going to beat the Giants. Daniel Jones was benched in that huge loss to the Eagles. Brian Daboll says they're sticking with Daniel Jones. I think part of that is because Drew Lock doesn't really give them a better chance to win. And, Daboll and the GM, their jobs are on the line. They have to make something happen here. And I just don't think they have the offense to compete. I just don't think it's going to happen. The Steelers offense put up 30 points back-to-back weeks. I don't know that they put up 30 this week, but I think they win, and I actually think they probably are going to do it by double digits.
Yeah, the problems with the Giants, I don't think are with Daboll. I think Daboll's a good coach, to be honest.
I like Daboll, but the GM's kind of handicapped him, and they don't. You can tell if you watch the Hard Knocks, it doesn't seem like they see eye to eye on everything. The draft plan was kind of weird. I think the owners had to have it with the GM. I mean, I just don't see him staying after this year.
So, yeah, I'm going with Steelers too. I don't even think this is particularly close. Steelers defense is not going to let the Giants do anything offensively. The Steelers defense is really good. They don't need Russell Wilson to play great. They just need him to not turn the ball over, and they'll be able to move the ball. Question is, are Steelers going to get another wide receiver? Mike Williams is, sounds like they're talking about Mike Williams, but it'd be interesting. All right, great guarantee time.
It's time for the Grit Guarantee.
All right. You went first on the previous thing. I'll go first. Actually, I don't really have too much. My guarantee is not even with this game. My guarantee is after the game. The Lions make a trade next week. That is where I think is going to happen. I think they're going to make a trade next week. So I don't think it'll be before this game, too late in the week, unless something just materializes. But I think after this game, before the Packers game, they make a trade.
So you fully changed your mind. You think the trade's happening now?
I think a trade is happening. I'm not saying for who. I mean, it could be Zadarius Smith. It could be for someone. But I just reading the tea leaves, Dan Campbell said something about Brad has brought him some stuff to look at. So, I knew that they were investigating it regardless without that quote. But if Dan brings that up, that means that that's semi-serious, and whether they want to move forward. So it kind of just depends on compensation probably at this point.
Right.
And then
Okay.
that's my guarantee.
All right. My great guarantee this week is that Tim Patrick finds the end zone.
Yeah.
So, we were potentially without Jameson Williams this week. They still have not officially announced the suspension as of right now, I guess.
Yeah.
So I know that Schefter said it sounds like he's going to play because the NFL hasn't actually dropped that yet. So we'll see whether they drop that or not. But I mean, it sounds like it's definitely going to happen. So if there's an appeal or something happening, I mean, who knows? But at some point, we're going to be without Jamo for 2 weeks. So, I mean, whether he plays or not, Tim Patrick has been involved in the offense pretty much more and more every week. He's shown that he's valuable. And if we do have to go without Jamo for a few weeks, I think maybe they do get a few more play calls for Tim in this game this week, just to try to figure some stuff out, see what we have, even if Jamo's out there too.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's good. I hope Tim Patrick gets a touchdown, just because I like him as a player. You kind of bring up a point. We haven't really talked about the Jamo situation on here. What's your feelings? What's your initial feelings on that? Do you have any positive, negative?
I mean, I've seen some mixed things about what exactly. I don't know if you even saw if it's like been confirmed what he took or what. I mean, it seems like it's along the lines of a supplement or something that had some sort of illegal thing in it, without it being, hey, Jameson Williams didn't inject himself with some sort of steroid or some sort of performance enhancing. Like, it's not that kind of situation. There's some sort of supplement he was taking or some sort of, I don't know if it's prescription medication or whatever it was, something that was on the ban list. Something that I guess is, he had said before, like, I kind of just have to take this one as it is, because it is, it is what it is. Maybe he didn't know it was illegal. He didn't know it was in there, whatever. I mean, it sucks. Obviously, it sucks anytime that happens, but it sucks that it happened to him just because of everything that we've already had to go through with him. He's already been fighting this whole, the bet that he placed was not on an NFL game. It wasn't like he was doing, he wasn't doing anything wrong when he got suspended for the bet. And then you've got other players like Rashee Rice, just people with way worse things that have happened, and they don't face any sort of suspension. And now here we go with Jamo again. I guess the national perception is rougher on him than what the Lions' perception is. I mean, do you feel any certain way about it? I don't feel any differently about him at all. I just think it's bad luck.
I think it sucks. I don't really look bad upon him it just sucks. And it's, I feel bad for him. I know that there's been some pretty harsh takes in the Detroit media about him, and I know some fans are whatever, they could have all their opinions. I tend to look at, like, people tend to have good intentions. Just from his interviews, the way he acts, the way his teammates talk about him, the way Dan Campbell talks about him, Brad Holmes talks about him, I feel confident that he's a good individual. I don't think he made a mistake on purpose. I don't think he was trying to do anything super shady. my feeling is it was probably just taking the wrong supplement, or there was something in there that shouldn't have been in there.
Right.
I don't know. We don't know. Where we're at though is it's a 2-game suspension. So I mean, it's not like he shot himself up with steroid, had an illegal substance in his body. It's just more of
Yes.
like it's on the banned list. So let me ask you this. So the thing that I read today, Justin Rogers posted that there's a 5-day window which he could do an appeal, and so that's the kind of thing. Like the NFL hasn't announced it yet, but I don't know if it's because he hasn't decided if he's going to appeal or not. So I don't
Right.
know. That's a little murky. But would you rather him just take it now and then he'll lose the Titans and the Packers? Because if he appeals and then makes this game, he's going to lose Packers and the Texans. So, I mean, for you, what would you rather him do?
I mean, I guess it depends on what you took and how that appeals process is going to go.
Mhm.
I mean, right away, he kind of saw. I mean, I don't know if that was from him or his agent or whatever. The quote that I saw was that he, kind of. It seemed like he knew whatever they had found. He, knew where it came from or how it had happened. So if that's the case, I don't know what an appeals process is really going to do because if you're taking some sort of protein supplement or some sort of vitamin that's got banned. There's all kinds of stuff on the ban list that are in really common supplements that you find.
Mhm.
So that's why I think most of the players, you have to rely on the team trainers and stuff like that to get your supplements and stuff from so that you're not taking anything that's on the ban list.
Yep.
So if it's something like that, then it is what it is. I think you start serving the suspension right now and you miss the Titans and Packers game. But, if there's even, I guess if him and the Lions or him and his team feel like there's even a 10 or 20% chance that maybe you get this reduced to one game or you get this completely wiped off, then it's worth an appeal, especially if there was no malicious intent behind it.
Yeah.
The NFL is very inconsistent with these suspensions, so you just really never know.
Yeah, it's just you get 4 games for betting just because you were in the facility, and like you said, the Rice situation. You have Jalen Carter situation. Being in a deadly car crash and car racing or whatever, and nothing happens, but yet you know you take the wrong supplement, you get 2 games. It's crazy. But
Right.
he has to be responsible for what he puts in his body. I'm sure the team has a list of approved supplements that everyone could take that they know are good. So the only thing that could save you is you saying I was taking one of the approved supplements and something got in there somehow.
Right.
You could have maybe that's what the appeal's about. But Dan Campbell's been really said in the press conference that he can't talk about it because the NFL hasn't announced it yet. So it's kind of in a weird situation right now. You would expect it since they announced that. They announced that while we were recording the podcast on Monday. That was the first text I got from you was Jamo suspended. I'm like,
As soon
what?
as we were done,
Yeah.
I looked down at my phone and that was what I saw.
Yeah, I was busy in the editing process of the thing, and I was like, oh my god, that sucks. But I don't have any ill will towards Jamo. I think it's unfortunate. I think it sucks for the team as a whole just to lose that. But it is what it is. Tend to be a person that I just if I have a tough situation, I just say accept it and move on. And that's kind of where I'm at with this. Okay, we're gonna lose Jamo for 2 games. Which 2 games would I want him to lose? And then we'll move on. And I think the Lions will look at it the same way. Um, Tim Patrick's going to have a bigger game, probably good week to pick him to have a touchdown because if JMO's not there, that's more chances he's going to get the ball. And they've talked about Allen Robinson; he's going to get his shot too brought up. So we got a veteran guy that could come in and take some snaps.
Right.
So
And I mean, JMO really was not heavily involved last week.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the passing game.
He wasn't heavily involved, but I think he dictates coverages. So I think sometimes you don't see what he's
Absolutely.
doing. So they're causing more shell coverages and different type of things that teams don't have to necessarily guard the deep throw. However, Khalif Raymond has good speed, and he almost had a deep touchdown. If Jared Goff did, one of the rare Jared Goff misses was on Sunday when he missed Khalif down that sideline. He hits him in stride. No one's catching Khalif. He's in the end zone, and that would have been a quick score.
I mean, he still scored on that drag route, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, he would have had 2
It-
touchdowns in that game. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
yeah.
Did you see the clip of when he made Gilmore fall over?
Oh, dude, that was unreal. Like it just you talk about ankle.
Live, it kind of looked like he just fell, but then when you
Yes.
actually see the actual play breakdown, you're like, no, Khalif put a move on him, and that dude
Yeah.
twisted his ankles, hit the ground.
Yeah, when during live they're like, "Oh, his defender just fell down." No, Khalif put him in the spin cycle,
right.
and he just like, I mean, I'm sure Gilmore's teammates gave him some crap when they saw that on tape because it just looked like Stephen Marbury, crossover. He just like the ankles just went bloop, and he fell right to the turf, man.
I'm out. Stephon Marbury.
Yeah,
Was that the last time you watched basketball?
might have been.
All right, guys.
All right.
Hilarious, and you don't even know why.
Why?
Stephon Marbury played in China for 10 years and has been retired for probably like 6.
I know, but he had the crossover move. That's why I remember.
No, you're big on the Chinese basketball circuit.
No, man. That was when he was in
There's
the NBA.
like 60 other people. I mean, if you're going to go old, you could have said Allen Iverson.
Oh, James Harden or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Kyrie Irving. There's some people with handles now.
Yeah, I got it. That's who that's when I stopped watching NBA basketball was around that time because it's a crap game now. But I digress.
Okay.
All right.
Speaking of NBA basketball, though, the Pistons did play their opening game tonight against the Pacers. That was at home. I did not see what the final score was. And we lost. 115 to 109. We were ahead early on. Pacers outscored us 33 to 19 in the fourth quarter to win.
That sucks.
Luckily, there's 82 games in the NBA season. There's time to disappoint us some more.
Time to get to 12 wins for sure. See if they match the Lions season total this year or not.
Right.
So, all right, let's head on out of here. All right, Jacob, thanks for showing up. I know you're in some pain. You showed up. You were on the injury report, questionable. Came in, gave it your best shot. Still showed up. Yeah, still showed up. So I appreciate it. All right, for Jacob, I'm Jason. Let's go Lions.